Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Sub Stories Volume 2. This is a series of videos I'm making where I'm highlighting the efforts, the contributions from subscribers of mine. They've shared their journey, bits and pieces of their journey, their successes or maybe their struggles. And the idea of this series is to give recognition, find the variety of different things that techniques that people have used to find success, to arrive in maintenance, and maybe to offer help to those that are in the process or motivation, people that are, midway on the journey, let's say, need some motivation or some help, or people struggling, maybe to offer some suggestions to those folks. And again, this is open. I'm going to give my commentary on this, but also it's open, and I encourage everyone that has an opinion about these individual stories to share in the comments. So let's go through the next round here and see what we have. Our first comment today is from Carnivore Mama. And she says, "Hi Jim, my journey started December 2017. My starting weight was around 235 pounds. I began a plant-based diet and in 6 months got down to a weight of around 190. I didn't like the sugar highs and lows, so in June 2018, I started the keto diet and eventually transitioned to carnivore with a few hiccups in between. I am currently 158 pounds and still have some body fat to lose. Still struggle with the idea of not having popcorn at the movies and not treating myself to ice cream when I'm out with my family. But I know that's all in my mind, and I have to come to terms and work on my relationship to food. I have lost significant weight 3 other times in my life only to gain it all back. I think I finally understand that I don't do well with moderation, and this is just something I have to do to stay in control. Thank goodness I love steaks and burgers. I would have never thought that I could do a 24-hour fast before, but I do at least one a week with ease." Thank you, Carnivore Mama, for this recap. I really have to give kudos to your approach here in your journey. I have to compliment you, number one, for you've fashioned your own approach. I mean, you not just looking for one certain formula or whatever. You try something. You started a plant-based diet, had some success, and then you moved on from there when you didn't like the sugar highs and lows. Went to keto, and then transitioned to carnivore. So you keep moving on. I like this. Rather than get discouraged, or some people try something and want to throw up their hands, but you just keep moving on, keep moving forward. That's my motto, keep moving forward. So I love that. Going from 235 to 158, you've made a huge move. So yeah, you're kind of like me. I got to a certain point and still had body fat to lose, and I understand that. And then you say you struggle with the idea of not having popcorn at movies and not treating myself to ice cream with the family. Here I can also relate really strongly with this. I had these triggers in from my past, and I really worried about them as I became successful on the weight loss and got close to my goal. I was worried about falling off the wagon and being triggered because I always had to have popcorn at the movies and I loved ice cream. And what was I going to do? Was I never going to have this stuff again, or what? And then getting deeper into it, you already realize that you have to come to terms and work on your relationship with food. And because you've had significant weight loss in the past, only to give it all back. This is the same. This is where I was. I always failed in the past, so I was really nervous about giving it all back. So what I just want to say to you is that I've worked through that, and probably if you just give it time, you're going to do the same. And your relationship, you'll realize your relationship with food has changed, and you will have the confidence to be able to go to the movies or be around people eating ice cream, and it won't trigger you. But this takes time, and until you're there, until you feel that confidence, I fully agree with you. Um, Forget about moderation. Forget trying to give yourself a cheat day or a day where you're going to play around. Because if you failed in the past numerous times, same like me, don't do the moderation. Stay strict with yourself until you feel that inner confidence, and then maybe test yourself a few times. And this is the way I did it. And then after a while, the light went on in my head. I realized, wait a minute, I'm beyond all that now. I've really changed my relationship with food, and I have confidence. So, actually, speaking of movies, I went to the first theater and saw a movie over the Christmas vacation this past Christmas, and I hadn't been to a movie theater in, I'm going to say, 20 years, just because it's too large and it was uncomfortable to sit in the seats, to be quite honest. And then after I was really nervous to go because of the popcorn. I had to have popcorn always at the movie. And you know what? I'm beyond it now. I was around popcorn. I was with people who had popcorn. I didn't have any popcorn, and it didn't bother me one iota. Uh, it smelled good, but I'm not tempted anymore. You can get there, but give it time. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. But anyway, uh, thank you, Carnivore Mama. I mean, you really. I want to set you up as an example of how to work through the process, because I've got nothing but good things to say about this. And I like now that you, with the carnivore, you can fast, and that's a healthy way to go. So, um, thanks for providing this feedback. The next story, this is a short one, but everyone probably knows this story. This is from CarnOMAD. Mike, the he of CarnOMAD, gave a short little summary here. Mike is in maintenance since June of 2017. He says, no doubt that changing meal frequency and meal components equal changing your relationship to food. And there, in one little formula, he said it all. Mike, if you're probably CarnOMAD, most of my audience is probably familiar with the CarnOMAD channel. If you're not, check in the link below and go over there and subscribe to it, because Mike puts up good content on a regular basis. He's always got good, insightful commentary on nutrition and weight loss, and shining the light on the myths that surround us, and misinformation. So, Mike, thank you for participating. You're obviously in maintenance and doing well. And I think Mike's story. I mean, he didn't give the whole thing, but he had gained weight like most of us as an adult. He'd become overweight and had high blood pressure, and realized he had to do something. And then I think at the suggestion of his brother, said, "Hey, you gotta look into keto." And he went down that route. And I think it was something like 6 months later, he had pretty much conquered it. He'd lost the weight, he'd stabilized his blood pressure, and corrected his blood markers. And now he's exercising in the sun near solar noon every day, and just a carnivore, and one meal a day. So he's really feeling it like I do, and shares a lot of good information on his channel. So definitely, if you're not familiar with CarlMed, check him out. Thanks again, Mike. Next up, we have a comment from Cindy Olson, who I put in the lurker category because I'm not familiar with her from any previous videos of mine, she starts off real succinctly, off the wagon with a frowny face. Too much travel disruption in my life right now. Inspiring video, Jim. Thanks. Okay, Cindy. Thanks. Travel and disruption. I mean, this is a problem for many. Travel disruption, life stress, and it's hard really to get going sometimes with things around you take precedent, and we always tend to kind of put ourselves in the back seat and as a secondary importance. And I fell into that trap too. But let me just say, keep working at it, because with the travel part of it, it is more difficult, but you can get around that if you work at it or you think about it. You can find techniques that will allow you to survive and eat well while you travel. It's possible to do. Okay, maybe it's not optimal, but it's possible. Disruption in your life, that is a tough one also, and can be hard, especially if if you're got issues with family members or whatever, or stress from the job. These are hard to deal with, but I would just suggest to keep in mind to find a way to elevate the importance of yourself, to be selfish and put yourself first. I mean, I know this may sound bad. We're not supposed to be selfish, but you need to be. Whatever you're doing, whether it's caring for others or family members or traveling, that means you have a job probably. You need to function well, and you need to be at your tip-top shape. So you need to be of sound mind and body for this. So that means you need to take care of yourself. And you take care of yourself by eating right and exercising, doing that type of thing. So I'm just going to suggest keep trying to find a way to make time for yourself, make time to eat right, and just start with little habits, little things, little changes. Just ask for a little window, a little opening here and there, and then build on it. And hopefully that works. And maybe there'll be some other suggestions for you. But anyway, I hope you find a way to get started and have success. Thanks for sharing, Cindy. Our next story is from Dakini Woman, which I believe is also another lurker newcomer. Hi, Jim. I always enjoy hearing what you have to say. I am not completely carnivore, though I changed my eating drastically from plant-based to trying carnivore for 3 months last October, November, December. Couldn't cope with a loose BM with total carnivore. Eating something like keto, now OMAD, and starting to lose a bit of weight. I have it in mind to do a water fast, but something keeps me from getting started. Work, social pressure, etc. I know they are excuses. It does help me to hear you. Thanks so much. Well, thank you, Dakini Woman, for sharing. These are typical comments. Let me just say, amazing. You went from plant-based to trying carnivore 3 months. You gave it a good try. You say couldn't cope with the loose BM. From my personal experience with it and hearing from the accounts of others, this is not uncommon in the beginning. It was for me. It was totally a different experience with the BM. It was less frequent and often loose. It didn't bother me. I could cope with it. It wasn't like I was sick or hurting or anything. It just happened to be loose a lot. Now, that has totally changed and has went away, and it hardly ever happens anymore. When you first go carnivore, it doesn't happen overnight, but your your microbiome needs time to change and your body needs time to adapt. It's not used to, it's used to getting the fibers and the sugars and the carbohydrates, a different set of food stuff. And when you get rid of all that, then a certain part of your gut microbiome is going to die off, and there's a changeover, and it doesn't happen overnight, and it takes time, and there's an adaptation. So I found this to be true. I'm a year and a half carnivore now. Like I said, the BM thing is gone now. Only time it might come up is if certain things I eat, I can't tolerate certain, if I have certain special sausages or whatever. If I have certain kinds of fat, might give me an issue, but it's becoming more and more rare. Anyway, so keto and OMAD starting to lose weight. I mean, certainly that makes sense to me. That's how I lost a lot of weight doing that. And again, with the work and social pressure getting in the way of fasting. Not surprising, as I just mentioned in a prior comment. One advantage I had in my journey, I didn't have so much work or social pressure or immediate people around me. I had pretty much just had to concentrate on myself, and that is an advantage. So it's an extra higher hurdle if you got pressure. This makes cortisol, this causes stress, and it's hard. When you have stress, you want to just seek comfort and eat something. This is normal, but they are excuses. I'll agree with you. You already know that. They are excuses, so you just have to work on it. Find an outlet for the stress that isn't harmful, that doesn't cause you to go back to the bad habits. You can have a little escape valve, that isn't, that's somewhat a keto friendly thing. Have something you can do if you're under stress that doesn't just cause you to totally go off the wagon. That could be a certain kind of snack, there are some nuts or some salami or some, I don't know, if cheese works, or just maybe some kind of a drink, a non-sugary drink. That for me, coffee is always a distractor. It makes me feel. I love having it. If I feel a little stressed or whatever, I just go have a coffee. But something else might work for you. But you'll get beyond it. Keep working at it. Anyway, thanks for sharing your story, and good luck, and let me know how it goes. The next comment came from Dean Riley, and Dean Riley has been one of the first early contributors to my channel in the comments. He's a regular. He always provides really high quality comments, on point, and he's been a valuable contributor. So I have to recognize Dean and thank him for that. And here's another case where I've known of him for some time now from his, like I said, his contributions to my channel, but I didn't know his whole story. So now we do. He says, I've been low carb for several years, lost about 65 pounds, then moved to keto carnivore. I'm mostly eating protein, fat foods with the occasional bit of lettuce/onion. I used to do a lot of cooking, enjoy giving dinner parties, but that's changed significantly in the last 4 to 5 years as I got ever more focused on carnivore foods. Now I'm quite happy, as is my partner, with a plate with just some roasted meat, maybe a side of seared ahi tuna, or some shellfish. We do enjoy organ meats as well, which I think are healthy. The need for a colorful plate is gone. I also use fewer seasonings, though sometimes a hot curry fits the bill using leftover lamb or beef. I'm retired and liking the simplicity. My major chore is remembering to take something from the freezer. We are quite happy with how we feel, look, and that we aren't taking any meds for anything. It's good. Our friends and family think we are crazy, but they also keep commenting on how we look younger, so there's that. My diet used to be about wanting to look good. Now it's far more about wanting to age well. We don't eat out much anymore, and I think that is a serious roadblock for many who try keto carnivore. We go out about once a month with friends to a great steakhouse that does a perfect prime rib. So that's where I am, a healthy senior growing older better. Dean always has a great way with words, and this is certainly an example. I love some of these comments in here. Our friends and family think we are crazy, but they also comment about how we look younger. Diet used to be about wanting to look good, now it's about wanting to age well. And isn't that the truth? You get to a point where you just want to be healthy and age well. And I feel I'm right there with you. And I love your last line. That's where I am, a healthy senior, growing older better. I'm right there with you. Thanks. This is really, really a great success story and maintenance, and it's in my view, it's how to live. And you are going to grow healthy here. Move to keto carnivore. You had to give up a few things, your dinner parties and having the colorful foods and that, but that kind of, you lose interest in that. I used to always think I had to eat colorful foods. That's what I read anyway. Now, yeah, just give me a plate of some meat, and I'm fully satisfied. I feel great. Dealing with the people. Yeah, in the beginning, I think it's tough for people. If you're going the carnivore route, especially, people do think you're crazy. And you wonder yourself. I mean, when I first heard about carnivore, I thought it was crazy. And then I got into it. Now I realize, well, it wasn't so crazy after all. In the beginning, you wonder, is this crazy? And when people say, so you don't want to talk to people about it. You want to keep it to yourself. And you're worried about people making comments. But you know what happens over time is that people can see your health, see how happy you are, how content, how calm, how you look well, and you tend to exude a confidence, and that comes through. People look at you and think, "Wow, that sounds crazy, but that's working pretty well." So yeah, I've grown through that, and now most people recognize that I'm happy with it. They may privately still think I'm crazy, but there's no denying, the lifestyle changes that I exhibit. So people in the beginning, it's a big issue, the social pressure, but I think you can work through that. And you can still go to restaurants once in a while. It's not optimal, but you can make do. You can find, everybody serves some kind of meat, and you learn how to order, how to get by. Dean, thanks. It sounds like you're doing everything right, and let's keep growing older better. Thank you. I think I'll go with one more comment today because I've used up a lot of time here. This is from definitely a lurker, Dmitry Volfson. A short comment, I'm at maintenance after 5 months and a 35-pound drop. I'm going for up to 10 pounds more drop to see if I can get my abs to come out. So it was a short comment here. I'm not sure what journey, what path, Dmitry, you took to drop 35 pounds in 5 months, but certainly well done. Good job. So if you want to go 10 more, I'd say you're close to maintenance. Maybe you're not there yet. you say maintenance, but you're still thinking another 10. So that's fine. To get the abs to come out, if that's your goal, you'll get there. But they're it's not always the most important thing is how you look, but also how you feel. So whatever you're doing, I hope you're happy and keep up the good work. And thank you for participating and contributing. And hope to see you in the future. Okay, I'm going to end this Volume 2 edition of Sub Stories right here. I went a little over the time limit. I overspoke on a couple of the comments, so I'll get better at this as time goes on, hopefully, because there's many, many more to do. Again, give your feedback in the comments below. Any suggestions for those that were struggling or dealing with social pressures or recognition. I think there was a number of mostly today was jobs well done, or people doing very well on their journeys and having succeeded and thriving. So thanks again to everyone who participated, and I hope it results in a positive experience for all. See you next time. Take care, everyone.